The views and comments expressed on the following radio program by its hosts and their guests do not necessarily reflect the views of RMCOnAir.com or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
I see what you're doing, yeah, I see what you go through. Put my lighter in the air, the truth is you're beautiful, 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 beautiful. Now put your lighter in the air for us.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the Sunny Wells Just Sports. My name is Walter Smith, better known as Smitty on the program here, and we have to my left Pierre Daniel. He's Mr. Historian, and it's so good to have him by my side here.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate that.
We're going to let Sonny know right off the bat we miss him, but I imagine he's involved with another basketball game.
Right, that's right. Hey, sir, we miss you a lot, son. You know that, man. And shout out to Sun Lady, too.
Yeah.
Sun Lady as well.
And our engineer, Chris Hodge, here.
Right.
We have a lot we can talk about today.
Absolutely.
We may as well start off with Jerry Tarkanian.
Okay, let's start out with the Talk to Shark.
Yes.
Yeah, Talk to Shark passed this week, and was certainly a touching situation because Talk to Shark, it's, in my opinion, the greatest coach. I think coach, period. But if arguably, if you wouldn't say it's the greatest coach, I would say definitely the greatest college coach of all times, in my opinion, was John Wooden. But behind the great John Wooden, and then of course, my sympathies and condolences go out to Dean Smith and the Tar Heel Nation too,
right. Yeah,
because he just passed right recently. But in terms of, I think the second greatest coach in college history was Jerry Tarkanian. I think that the legacy that he left, and the players that he touched, and the success that he had throughout the years, especially in the West region, almost unparalleled. Like I say, besides the great John Wooden, Talk to Shark did win a national championship.
The Running Rebels.
Absolutely, the Running Rebels. But even long before that, his legacy on the high school level, and then ranging from Pasadena City College to the Riverside City College, where they won the state titles.
Yes.
Pasadena City College as well as Riverside City College state title. I think he won like 3 out of 4 years or something like that. So he was already, on his way to being a legend on that level. Then he moved over to Long Beach State, which Long Beach State, their basketball program was basically, rudimentary. Let's put it like that. When he took over in 1969. He took over the program and immediately turned him into a national power. Great players, not only regionally but around the country. He turned him into such a national power that people obviously remember the UCLA years when UCLA won an unprecedented 7 national championships in a row, 10 national championships out of 12 years. But right behind that, you had the great Jerry Tarkanian with the Long Beach State teams. A lot of those teams during the regular season were perennially ranked like number 3 in the country, number 4 in the country.
I remember those
behind
days.
Right behind UCLA. And back then, when you made it to the tournament was regional, meaning that number 1, you had to win your conference. It wasn't this, conference tournament and coming in 5th place or 6th place and still makes it to the NCAA tournament. You had to actually win your conference, and once you won your conference, then you were placed in a regional bracket, meaning that Long Beach State was going to have to, in order for Long Beach State to make it to the Final Four, they had to get out the West region. And the West region, obviously, was UCLA. So they had to go into the best team, in the country almost like every single year.
I remember those days.
You remember those days? Right, exactly right. There was one year where they actually almost beat UCLA. I think it was in the Final 8. It was scored something like 51, 55 or something. Very, very close game. It was a very controversial call.
They were the underdogs.
Right, exactly.
You wouldn't expect them to fit in the same category as UCLA, but yet their style and no doubt the coaching experience you were talking about.
Absolutely.
Right there.
Absolutely right. And on top of that, when you're looking at, after that, they start, the seeding was different, meaning that nowadays, a team like Long Beach State back then would have been shipped out maybe to the East region or the South. So they would have met up with UCLA maybe in the Final Four, maybe the national championship. But back then, you had to get through UCLA in order to make it to the Final Four, and that was back in the peak of the Wooden years.
Right.
And those are probably some of the greatest teams, right? Exactly, greatest teams, exactly in the history of college basketball. But then you look at so many great players. Smitty, I remember even back your day. Now I came out of class of '84, but I started playing basketball probably about 6 years prior. Yeah. And I remember so many great players. And I was a diehard UCLA fan at the time, and I remember my sister took me to some of the. This is all the way back when I was about 5 years old, 6 years old. She'd take me to some of the games, and I used to remember all this excitement, this crowd going crazy, and it was like in Long Beach. And I'm like, Long Beach? And I'm just trying to remember. And then when I got older, when I was getting recruited in from there, when I came down to what school I was going to go to, Long Beach State wasn't even on the map. So I didn't even put two and two. And then I started doing some research, and I'm like, wait a minute. My sister used to take me to some of those games, and Long Beach State was like a powerhouse.
That's right.
Right? And so I'm like, wow, so I started thinking about it, I say, well, that was back when, I'm saying, who was the coach back then? and then it was the great Jerry Tarkanian, and he would take players like the great Raymond Lewis. Yeah. Although he didn't actually get him.
Right. Raymond Lewis was at Cal State LA.
Exactly. Right. But he respectfully turned down Tark. Tark that was about the only one that Tark really went after. Yeah. And he probably didn't get. He actually the great Raymond Lewis turned down arguably the best, and John Wooden too. Yeah. He respectfully turned him down as well and went to Cal State LA. Like you said, he was one of the all-time greats. But players like Ed Ratliff. I mean, I don't know if you remember Sam Robinson. Yeah. Sam Robinson went to Jefferson, and then he passed to the City College, ended up at Long Beach State, and that was one of the All-Americans that he had. Like I said, Ed Ratliff. There was so many great ones that he had at Long Beach State. Then he left Long Beach State. The NCAA basically ran him out of there, right? And then he ended up at UNLV. Yeah. And UNLV was basically considered tumbleweed tech. Again, a program very similar to Long Beach. When he got there, a lot of people really weren't that interested in the program. I mean, weren't doing much, not much fan interest out there, this, that, and the other. He turned that Desert team into a national powerhouse. Yeah. I remember so many years where UNLV was perennially ranked in the top three. A lot of times they were number one.
Yeah, and Greg Anthony was on that championship team.
Greg Anthony, not only Greg, you're absolutely right. And, of course, Larry Johnson. We called him Plastic Man, who was the Stacey Augmon, who played the NBA for several years.
Yeah, he played a long time in the NBA.
He sure did. Yeah. As a matter of fact, he's an assistant coach at UNLV right now. Okay. And, all of them have so much reverence for the great Jerry Tarkanian. Smitty, man, he loved his players. I mean, he looked at his players literally like family. Some coaches give you that coach speak just to make you play better, that you can quiet. But then once they're done with you, from there, you're pretty much on your own. Yeah. But he had players like Chris Herron, a white guy who played for him at Fresno State.
Problems with
drugs. Absolutely right. He played stints in the NBA, but Coach Tark took him under his wing, treated him like a son, and got him through all of that. Now he's a basketball coach on high school level, back east, but he's played the NBA, for years. And he said if it weren't for Coach Tark, he would probably be dead. Yeah,
several of the players attribute him to the father-like figure.
Right. Yeah. And not just that. You're talking about great players. I remember cats like Eldridge Hudson, who played for Carson, and he was a City Player of the Year. And he was so dominant in pretty much every school around the country wanted him, and somehow or another, Tark was able to bring him in. I mean,
you say somehow or another. That kind of stuff is what got him in trouble a little bit there.
I'll give you that. We can talk about that too. Yeah. Absolutely right. Cats like Reggie Theus, who played for Inglewood. I remember, like I say, in my opinion, the greatest player in the city was John Williams. John Williams didn't go there, but that was like probably number 2 on his list.
Yeah, where did John Williams go?
John Williams ended up going to LSU.
LSU,
right. And then from there, he was a hardship. He was drafted by the Washington Bullets at that time, as he came out after sophomore year. Right. As a sophomore year, and cats like I could go on and on. Cats like Jarvis Bass-Knight, who went to Verbindale, Lewis Brown. Cats like Anthony Jones. I don't know if you remember him, a cat from back east. Another one where he had recruited like the great Ed O'Bannon.
Yeah.
And Ed O'Bannon who went to Lakewood Artesia, and he said that if you give me Ed O'Bannon, I will give you 2 national championships. He said, you give me Ed O'Bannon,
He saw
I'll
the
give you.
talent here, right?
He said, look, you give me Ed O'Bannon, I'm giving you 2 national championships. That's guaranteed. And that was right around the time they had ran him out of UNLV.
Yeah.
So, just like Tark, this his character, he instead of keeping him locked into his letter of intent to UNLV, he allowed him to leave if that's what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And the main reason why he was going to be there, of course, was because of the great Tarkanian and the program he left. So he decided his second choice was UCLA.
Yeah.
And sure enough, UCLA, after the last national championship, UCLA won. Right, because he knew with not only Ed could probably bring home the title himself, but along with Ed, his brother was probably going to come because they were very close. And sure enough, he did show up at UCLA, and they won that championship there as well as Sean Tarver, who was another great player at the time. Yeah. And so he knew all of those cats were coming, as well as pretty much anyone else that he wanted. I mean, he had so many great players, and the player probably got in trouble with probably the most was a player who never even played for him, a guy by the name of Lloyd Daniels. Okay. He came from New York. Yeah. And they were saying there was a lot of situations with that. And he never even played a game for the great Tarkanian. That's one of the reasons why the NCAA sanctions. And like you said, Smitty, it's almost like if you remember the cartoon character Pigpen. Everywhere he went, there was like a cloud of dust, a lot of controversy. Right. And I hate to say it, but everywhere the great Tarkanian went, I mean, ranging from Long Beach State to UNLV to Fresno State. Right. Allegations. Now, again, in fairness, he did sue the NC2A, and he did win the settlement for $2.5 million. Yeah, I remember. They didn't admit guilt, but of course, they wouldn't have paid unless they thought they were, they thought they were wrong. They had some wrongdoing. So, right. But now, in all fairness, maybe he did take some players who had shady backgrounds, or maybe he took players who probably wouldn't have gotten in through regular admissions at the university. Yeah. But the same token, they did have special admissions, and he did take advantage of that. Okay, right now we're going to break in for our sponsors, and then we'll get right back into a discussion of All-Star Weekend and project out what the NBA is going to do after the All-Star Weekend. Absolutely right. All right.
What's your style? Curly? Straight? Wavy, or maybe you like it natural. Introducing Secret Styling Hair Care Products by Smith Products Company, LLC. A complete line of hair moisturizers, shampoos, conditioners, and an assortment of other hair styling aids formulated for today's fashion-conscious consumer. Enhance your style. Get the secret.
Are you a diabetic? Need some energy? Need to quench your thirst? Try Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink, the only energy drink named suitable for diabetics by the American Diabetic Association. And it's now available with no calories, no carbs, no sugar, and no fat, and a smooth, natural blend of energy, vitamins, and minerals. Need to quench your thirst? Try Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink, the only energy drink named suitable for diabetics by the American Diabetic Association. And it's now available with no calories, no carbs, no sugar, and no fat, and a smooth, natural blend of energy, vitamins, and minerals. Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink is the healthiest, best-tasting energy drink around. For more information and online ordering with free shipping, please visit hiphopbev.com. Remember, Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink, suitable for diabetics, great for everyone.
Yes. All right. This is All-Star Weekend.
Right.
Yeah, and I had a chance to see the celebrity game. I don't know if you saw it today.
A little bit of it.
Okay, yeah. Can you imagine Kevin Hart, 4-time MVP of the celebrity basketball game?
I know.
Yeah.
Which is ironic because, number one, he's a huge sports fan.
Yes.
He's very knowledgeable about sports. Yeah. I'll give him credit for that.
I think he played a little high school basketball too.
And actually, I was about to say I think he's a decent player.
Yeah,
I mean, when you see him a
couple of times.
Exactly. When you see him and you know just on the eye test,
yes,
he might not pass that. Yeah. But he knows how to play the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I mean, if he wasn't acting so much, I'm talking about so many different movies and TV. He put more time into his game.
Would you take him over Kobe right now?
Only if he was telling jokes, and that's what it was all about.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Right.
Yeah. Right now, though, Kobe's not playing, so yeah, I'll put him in there.
Right, I put him in there.
But they had some nice caliber players there. They had the young girl, Monet.
Certainly.
What's it? Davis, yeah. And she did a spin move on Kevin Hart. They looked pretty nice.
It was pretty nice,
yeah.
right? What do you think about? What do you think about Carmelo Anthony actually playing in the game, but then saying he's going to shut it down?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think about that?
Everything is just not the same anymore, you know. So I say that to say, with the way they're losing,
Right.
I would hate to waste that talent too. Try and retool for next year, but.
No,
In the game of basketball,
Right.
the fans spending all that money,
Right.
that product should be on the floor.
See,
Yeah.
and I'm saying if he's not well enough to play, you know, let's say for the duration of the rest of the season.
Yes.
Personally, I have a problem with him playing in the All-Star game. If he
Okay,
needs to
I
shut
see
it
what you're
down, let's go ahead and shut it down.
But
now,
then again, he's doing it for the sport. And,
You're right.
You know, the
He's-
fans want to see him, you know.
you're right, but I'll give you that, and I know it's in his hometown,
Yeah.
and I know that's
Right. That's
they've been
part of
looking
it,
forward
too.
to that.
New York
No.
market, you got to have all that plays into it.
Oh, the devil plays. I mean,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
if you don't put him out, I mean, what have the Knicks had to look forward to in the last?
Yeah.
It's
It's
hard
terrible.
to believe that they're that bad.
Yeah. Well, Phil Jackson is admitting that he's messed up, you know. So
Yeah, that was hard for me to believe. I mean,
Yeah.
I could believe that
Yeah.
the Zen Master actually came out, you know what I'm saying, and
Yeah.
actually admitted that he.
see, what he didn't realize is he had Jordan, he had Kobe, he had Shaq, you know, Scotty.
Right.
Yeah, so he doesn't have that. So all that Zen talk, see, is not working now, you know.
Right.
Yeah,
Do you think that he should come down from his perch and coach the team? Do you think, I mean, obviously they have to play better than what they're playing now, but I'm
Yeah.
saying to the point where it's really a difference maker. I mean,
Yeah.
a legitimate playoff team. If he came down and
You
coached,
talking about this season?
well, you know what? I'll give him a pass on this season. Let's
Yeah,
just say about this.
yeah.
Let's just say starting out fresh
Yeah.
next season.
Yeah.
Right. Do you think that he's going to have to say, okay, all right, now, D-Fish, you know, yeah, a chance.
Do that to Derek
I
Fisher.
know.
Oh, wow.
Well, you know, remember, he wanted Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
Right. And Steve Kerr said, no, he looked
Yeah.
at the situation. He was a
Steve
couple
Kerr
of
was
teams-
smart.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So do you think that the team will be a legitimate playoff contender with the talent that they have now? Maybe a free agent or two come in.
Yeah.
Next year, because pretty much everyone wrote them off.
I'm a parallel what's happening in New York with L.A.
Okay, which is
And-
very similar.
Yeah. And I think Byron Scott needs an opportunity to get better players in and then see what he can do. So
Right.
likewise with Derek Fisher, I would like to see, because he has the Zen in the background there working with him.
Right.
So that by extension, Phil Jackson is on the court. So
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. And you look at two of the biggest markets,
right.
in the country, and two of the standards, hallmark standards of the NBA to see both teams. Let's not even talk about Boston.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're in the doldrums too.
Yeah.
But to see the two media markets and these two, franchises that are the iconic franchises,
Right.
the Knicks and the Lakers, as poor as they're playing now, I don't know which one is going to turn it around faster. You know what I mean? I'm like,
We'll have to
wow.
see. I see the Lakers are jockeying for the point guard at Phoenix.
Right, for Phoenix, exactly.
What's the name?
Right, Dragic.
Yeah.
I'll give you that, but he's a 28-year-old point guard.
Okay.
Okay, now, and remember, they're talking about, are you going to extend a max contract to a 28 going on 29-year-old point guard if you're trying to rebuild?
Right.
I can understand short
28
term.
year, how many years does he have? Maybe 4 or 5 years? In
Well,
the
that's what
league?
I'm trying to say. Yeah, maybe 4 or 5 years. Would you be better served maybe going another? Well, it depends on who they can land.
Right.
Because if you can't land anyone, that you're going to need someone to come in and play with your main man. Considering that if and when he comes back.
Yeah.
And well, that's another question. Is he coming back?
Right.
Do you think he's coming back?
Well,
you think Kobe's coming
they
back?
had Magic on what's Steve Smith's show?
Oh, okay,
Yeah, he was
first
on-
take.
Did you see it?
Yes,
yeah,
I
he,
did,
He
yeah.
told Magic, and Kobe, not to come back if the Lakers don't put some quality players on the court with him. And then he
Right.
kind of trashed Jim Bush.
Right, yeah,
Yeah. Which Gene said those two need to get together and work it out. So she was very diplomatic how she handled that also.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeannie, Magic said that he basically grew up with Jeannie. I mean, they were basically like brother and sister almost, because Dr. Buss took him under, like a surrogate father,
Yeah.
took him under his wing, and they pretty much spent a lot of time together. And he tries to say to Jim Buss, he don't know what Jim Buss was doing while Jeannie Buss was off at USC
Yeah.
getting her degree in business.
Right.
So not only was she learning it, experience-wise with hands-on.
That's the best
She's
kind
learning
of getting that education and on the job training at the same time.
At the same time,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
great. Yeah.
Right. So she's very savvy, not only from from education standpoint, she also knows hands-on experience, and obviously none best teacher hands-on than her father. Now, in contrast, saying they don't know where Jim Buss was, what he was doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He just came in, when the father knew that, his health was failing and he was going to have to turn over the reins eventually.
Yes.
And so it was better for him to start learning, how to do it. So he's pretty much coming in, he's pretty much coming in at third base.
Right.
Where Jeannie was pretty much, groomed, from the beginning,
Right.
coming out of, let's say in the batter's box, that she's doing everything, home plate, first base, second base, third base, where he just popping in at third base. Now, they're saying that he's so stubborn. Not only is he making poor decisions, he won't even admit to the fact that he's making poor decisions. It's really hurting the franchise.
Yeah.
Like, of course, Mike Brown.
Yeah.
And of course, D'Antoni.
Yeah.
Not bringing in Phil
look at
Jackson.
Gasol right now.
Exactly. Boy, I know he's glad. He's looking at
Glad he
that.
got away from that mess. He made the right decision.
Absolutely right.
So let's look at the league now. Let's
Sure.
look at the East.
Absolutely.
For after the All-Star break.
Right.
Who do you see in the finals when it's all said and done?
Man, you know what?
Cleveland, you got Chicago.
What about the Hawks?
The Hawks are playing great ball.
I'm actually looking at
Wizards are decent.
Wizards are decent. I'm actually looking at the Hawks and the Raptors.
Right.
I'm looking at Toronto.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, Toronto and definitely the Hawks. The Hawks are probably the one I'm circling. Although, when you haven't been there, in order to keep on knocking at that door, you generally have to take steps to get there. Like, for example, if you haven't made it to the third round, the chances are you're probably going to lose in the second round.
Right.
Or even the first round, glad to get to the playoffs, maybe the second round, you might lose. Then the next time around, you take steps up. The Hawks haven't made it to the championship since, the championship?
Yeah.
Well,
what I'll say, they have the coach who was the assistant coach over at San Antonio.
Exactly.
So they're playing a similar type game.
They are playing a similar type, but however, they haven't, since they haven't, any of those players have been there.
Right.
It's one thing.
Yeah.
Exactly, right. It's one thing in the regular season.
Yeah.
But it's another thing when you're talking about the playoffs and that game slows down and that pressure gets on you. You know what I mean?
And that's Charles Barkley's point, and I think I kind of go with him. He said they don't really have a good go-to guy in that half-court game when the pressure's on.
Absolutely. You're right
They haven't
about that.
identified who
they haven't
that person
identified.
is.
Right. And you're right. They need to establish that.
Right.
The second half of the season is when you really need to start, honing in on, hey, you know what? This is the way, in crunch time, when the time, when the money time, when it counts the most, these are the players that we want you to feel comfortable.
That's right.
Right, with taking those last second shots, because it's going to come down to, we all know NBA ball in playoffs slows down a lot. It's more a half-court game.
And that's why I look at the teams, and I look at Chicago. They have two big men at least.
Right.
Saul and what's the other, Noah Kim?
Yeah, Joakim Noah. You're right.
Yeah, Joakim. Yeah. And then if the Derrick Rose.
Right.
Is that you got to get
D-Rose, right.
D-Rose.
Right.
If you saw the game the other evening when they played Cleveland.
Right.
He was driving to he looked like the old D-Rose.
D-Rose, right?
Yeah.
But can you put your eggs in that basket, though, Smitty?
What choice do you have?
I'll give you that.
So if the coach managed him properly through the balance of the season, get in the playoffs. And he only has how many games to play in the playoffs? Maybe.
I know. Well, maybe about 20-something. I mean, to get to the championship round. Yeah. But I just think that D. Rose is just one of those players, man. Well, I just don't. I mean, because of what's happened in the past, I just don't feel. I just feel as though he's like one player. I know any player is one player away from their career. I understand all that. But the same token, especially in his case, it seemed like he's had so many freak accidents, freak injuries. It's like, you know,
well, that's what you're doing. You're sitting, you're waiting for that to happen again.
Right.
But if he can get past and get to the playoffs,
well, let's just say a healthy D Rose. Now all of a sudden, you're talking about the power source shifting to definitely the Bulls. You have to look at the Bulls as being a solid contender.
Yeah.
But again, saying that. A lot of people have been overlooking the Hawks and definitely overlooking the Raptors. Now, remember, DeMar DeRozan, who went to USC, he played in Compton and went to USC, he's had a great year. Now, he sat out some portion of this season due to injury. Exactly right. Now it seems like the Raptors are pretty healthy, and a healthy Toronto team is looking, very strong. But again, having said all of that, we're looking at, if King James continues to play the way he's playing. I was waiting for it to come around.
Absolutely right. And you see, they got that new center there. Have you watched him play? Kozlov or something to that effect?
Yeah, he's nice.
Chop up these names.
No, but he's nice.
He's nice.
He's definitely nice.
Yeah. He'll run the floor. He blocks shots. He's got some moves.
Right. And in addition to that, it seems like LeBron James has finally been able to get into the head in a positive way of Kevin Love. And say, look, man, we need to be inclusive. Not exclusive. You know, we need you on this team. We need your productivity. We need you to be there for us. So what, you might score 5 points, this game. The next game you might, like against the Lakers. 30-something points, and we're going to need that down the stretch because he doesn't have any playoff experience. Kevin Love playing in Minnesota all those years, so he doesn't know how it's going to be down the stretch. But he's telling him with this outside shooting and his rebounding, that's pertinent. That's going to be
you got a sharpshooter.
That's what I'm saying.
You got ball handlers,
and for him,
power forwards, you got a good center,
exactly. And for Love, particularly him crashing those boards, and him able to stretch four. The four is not going to come out to that 3-point line. If he gets hot. In addition to everything else, the Cavaliers might be the team to beat, especially if LeBron James says, you know what, I'm sorry, there's certain games I might just have to go for 40.
That's right.
And if he has that mentality and say, you know what, if I see the team slipping, I'm going to have to go ahead and put it on my shoulders until the team comes along.
He can carry it.
Exactly, carry it for a while.
Same way as D. Rose could do Chicago if he's healthy.
Yeah, but D. Rose is a little bit different because D. Rose, I'm not a fan of D. Rose's shooting. I think he still takes a lot of ill-advised shots.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Exactly. Now, LeBron James, in his case, is different. I think he's not only a better shooter, but he's an excellent passer.
But this is what I'm thinking. That coach is going to have D. Rose throwing that ball to the inside, that half-court game in the
I'll
playoffs.
give you that. But you know what? I might disagree with you on that, Smitty, only because in the playoffs previously, he didn't put down. He didn't have those same players. Right. He didn't have Gasol. Right. I think
that's
he might have no
difference when you got a champion like Gasol.
I'll give you that. You're right about that. Right. So if they use an inside-outside game, that will definitely enhance the chance of winning.
Now let's move to the West.
Right.
Yeah. Who are you looking at there?
Boy, West is wide open, wide open. And I thought the Clippers, you could pretty much throw mud on them, but the last couple of games they played with DeAndre Jordan trying to pick up that offense, with Blake Griffin out, I think that's only helping the Clippers out because when Blake comes back, I think they're going to be an even stronger team. But to answer your question, I'm looking at Golden State.
Golden State, when it's all said and done, But and my it's not really a dark horse. Don't forget about San Antonio Spurs.
Don't forget about San Antonio Spurs. Don't forget.
They taught everybody a lesson last year.
You can say that again.
Yeah, but I think it would be exciting to see the Golden State Warriors in.
You're right, but see, but again, now we're looking at, like we were talking about the Atlanta Hawks. Once you haven't been there. And we know that Golden State lost in a 7-game series to the Clippers last year. So they still didn't get to the second round. They made it to the first round. Almost made it to the second round. So I wouldn't be surprised when they get to the second round. Maybe the Western Conference Finals. But to get to the championship and win it, that might be a stretch for this team right now. Now, maybe the next year.
Is Portland in the picture anywhere?
I don't see it. I know Aldridge and I know the all-star point guard, Damian. He's nice. The team is nice. I don't see Portland. I don't see Houston because of your man D. Howard.
Yeah. Speaking of which, did you see what he did the other day?
Yeah.
After the interview, what in the world? National TV reaching for a man's.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
Private
I just
parts.
don't understand it. I don't understand.
Didn't make sense whatsoever.
Didn't make sense. It still don't. The same way that Pete Carroll running, throwing the ball on second down. I don't understand that. Some things that happen, you just can't.
That's so true.
Right.
What about OKC?
OKC,
they're vying for the 8th spot now.
They are
half a game out or something like that.
You're absolutely right. Now, will they make the playoffs?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
Will they go far in the playoffs?
Yeah.
I just don't see
What are they
it.
missing?
I just don't see it. I think maybe the inside game. I think the inside presence.
Okay.
And they got such a slow start.
Get
coming on strong
what's his
now.
name, the center? Ibaka, I'm referring to. Get him to stop shooting those threes.
Right.
Yeah, play post up.
You're absolutely right.
It's been a great show, and it's time to wrap things up. So we're going to exit, and we'll see you next time around. And Sonny, we look forward to seeing you next time around.
Absolutely, Sonny. Hey, man, miss you, man. Of course, Sunday, you as well.
So, Just Sports.
What's your style? Curly, straight, wavy, or maybe you like it natural? Introducing Secret Styling Hair Care Products by Smith Products Company, LLC. A complete line of hair moisturizers, shampoos, conditioners, and an assortment of other hair styling aids formulated for today's fashion-conscious consumer. Enhance your style. Get the secret.
Are you a diabetic? Need some energy? Need to quench your thirst? Try Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink, the only energy drink named suitable for diabetics by the American Diabetic Association. And it's now available with no calories, no carbs, no sugar, and no fat, and a smooth, natural blend of energy, vitamins, and minerals. Need to quench your thirst? Try Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink, the only energy drink named suitable for diabetics by the American Diabetic Association. And it's now available with no calories, no carbs, no sugar, and no fat, and a smooth, natural blend of energy, vitamins, and minerals. Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink is the healthiest, best-tasting energy drink around. For more information and online ordering with free shipping, please visit hiphopbev.com. Remember, Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink, suitable for diabetics, great for everyone.